Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Mighty Misfit Menagerie, or Cast. Tonight, we are going to be starting with 2 hours of Rime of the Frostmaiden, followed by a little break, and then 2 hours of our Isles of Madness mini campaign that we've been running. And hopefully we will have our lovely Mark back in a week or so to join in this game and to join in that game. So thank you all again for coming tonight to watch this. And I believe Rio had an announcement.
Well, at the time that this will release on YouTube, it will no longer be, but I would like to wish Helena a very happy International Women's Day, as it is International Women's Day today.
And we... Thank you. Thank you. I love it when you surprise me. It's so funny.
Well, thank you for being here with us tonight on a lovely holiday, Helena.
Mm-hmm. March 8th, International Women's Day.
It would be a Monday.
Monday is the start of my weekend, so.
Oh, okay then.
Speaking of celebrating Helena, we are going to be doing a new campaign coming up as well. We just wanted to let everybody know about that before we start. Tonight, we're going to be doing the Mysteries of Candlekeep once that is released, and we'll put out some more info on exactly how we're doing it. But we are going to be doing a kind of a rotating DM situation. So you'll get to see Helena DM as well as Hank and Jake. So we're really excited for that and stoked to get started when it gets released next week. More details on when we're actually starting to stream and put that on YouTube to come. And with that, Helena, would you terribly mind doing our lovely recap?
Of course. So here we are. Another female character has betrayed us, charges at us.
International Women's Day.
As if we didn't help her, as if... Anyway, so she charges as if we didn't just kill a bunch of much scarier shit than her. She thinks she can take us down. So she charges us, but of course that's not the case. Between, axes flying and spells going off, we're like, why? And she's like, I hate you. So, okay, so we kill her. And Altus is like, okay, let me bring her back. Boom, doesn't work. So we're like, all right, well, I guess we'll talk to her tomorrow because D&D rules. So, so we camp out and Mala is like, we got to make sure that opening in the throne doesn't close on us because that would be unfortunate. Then we'd probably have to face the stalker again. So he shoves some logs in there and lo and behold, he should have done that because the thing tried to close in the night. So next morning, Altus is like, okay, I got this. Speak to dead. Ring, ring. What's up, Yaselm? Why are you so angry at us? And she was very angry still. And she basically was like, a real wanted me to, duh. And so we were like, okay, bye. So we're like, okay, now a real wants us dead. That's weird. What do we do to her? So then we go into the opening. And we find a puzzle. It's got some Dwarvish script written. Thankfully, one of us knows that because otherwise we would have really had a rough time. And then so we solve the puzzle and we get into a little treasure chest room. And oh no, there's floating axes. No problem. We take them out. And then we open this chest and there's a horn of blasting, which I looked up last week, but don't remember what it does now. But it was cool. And we got out. I don't think we went back to Bryn Shander yet, did we?
No, where we left off in this one, you all were standing in between the circle of 7 thrones just at the beginning of the twilight hours as all of the crows in the surrounding trees took flight north of Jarlmoot. And that is where we find you.
So ominous. Yeah, they all just took off. Anybody know why they did that?
I can only assume that they had other plans. Yes.
At the same time, birds often work together.
Well, they do flock together. So if one were to fly away, maybe the others would be so inclined. I'm in no way nervous that it is some kind of ominous sign of some kind of terrible thing that's about to happen to us in some predictable and awful way.
Well, it's best to keep moving. So do we think Hugo is out here at all? Did she kidnap him?
I mean, do we even know if he actually left Bryn Shander? Could it be that he was just sleeping it off somewhere and she just lured us out of town hoping we wouldn't run into each other?
Would that play work on us?
Well, if it is what happened, then it did.
Well, I know Hugo was looking for Driss Jordan. Did he think he was going to be here?
Well, but Hugo is very clearly not here.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could go back to town and see if he's there.
We probably should, yes.
Yes, let's go back to Bryn Shander with all those people just milling about and going about their lives and yelling and screaming and flushing things. That was new.
It's normal, Malai. We promise.
All right. So descending from the hill on which Jarl Moot stands, surrounded by the forks of the river, the dogs are still waiting at the base, sitting on top of where the ice has frozen over the river rocks. A couple of them sleeping on the sleigh itself, apparently taking watch in their own turns as they await all of your return.
They're the smartest puppies on earth.
Feed them, get them settled.
Excellent. And are you taking the river back to town, or are you going across the wilderness?
Which way did we come?
The
Do you
river.
remember? The river?
Yeah, the river, and it was a lot faster because it's all plowed out and has ice.
See that?
Okay.
Do we feel like the river is still solid? Like summer hasn't miraculously caved and we're going to fall through the ice now, right?
not through a single night. Beal was angry, but not self-destruct angry in order to bring summer. So no, the ice still does seem to be as thick as it was when you departed.
Then yes, we take the river.
Okay. So the path itself is winding and much the same as when you took it out here, although you were traveling as fast as you could to be able to find your missing friend. The path itself still seems to be clear. With Iselm being with you the whole time, all of you can gather that there wasn't really a way for her to booby trap your return from here. Can I get a perception check from anybody that would be paying attention to your surroundings?
16.
I rolled a 2. I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah, it's a natural 20, 22.
I rolled an 8, but my passive is high.
Okay, if you rolled above a 15, or if you have above 15 with your modifiers, high above in the sky, as you're now approaching the peak of the twilight hours, there is a white shape nearly invisible against the clouds as it flaps large canvassed wings moving above all of you.
Does it look aggressive?
It looks like it's just traveling. It's too high above to be like hunting or anything along those lines. Could I get a nature check from the two of you that have seen it?
That is a 24, my dude.
That is the second 2 I've rolled in a row.
I love playing int characters. I know why you do it now, Coulter.
All the useful side skills. And I believe, Z, you saw it as well, right?
Yeah, 18.
So the two of you that have above that 15 again. It is a white dragon traveling overhead.
I'd imagine Altus just goes, "Oh, real?"
No.
I sure hope not.
It's a white dragon. I mean, I don't think she takes that form, does she? Should I make a religion check?
Sure.
Should I make
18 plus 7, 25.
Should the cleric make a religion check to see if he knows
So,
it?
based on Altus's original roll, he wouldn't have seen it until it was pointed out. But if the other two pointed it out, sure.
Okay. The religion check's a 19.
Yeah, so I would say both of you would know that no, that's not one of the forms that a real takes.
But it is concerning. It's too high up to be hunting, but still, I mean,
But
a dragon is a dragon.
just low enough to be ominous.
How common are dragons? Like, I just as a Helena question. Well, I'll ask this in after party. Never mind.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay.
Coulter, should I make a? So I have training in cartographer's tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that means that I'm pretty good with like maps and directions and stuff. Can I figure out maybe where it's like going? Like,
Sure,
if it
yeah, go ahead.
continued going straight where it was going? I do not know how to just do a random D20 on roll 20, so I'm just going to do a history check and then say that's cartographer's tools. That's an 18.
Okay. With that, and yeah, so that would have the same modifier as your cartographer's tools.
I'm assuming because it's int plus proficiency. So
Got it. So with that, and I'll put it on the map here for y'all. So you all presently are about here as you're seeing it, and it is going that way.
oh, so that's going to bring it kind of perilously close to Bryn Shander.
I mean, it's parallel. You can see that it's parallel to that.
Yeah.
So as long as it doesn't change course, it wouldn't be like in sight of Bryn Shander or anything.
Should we just follow it?
Well, I mean, it does seem to be going about its business. And again, Culture, I don't know if I need to make a check for this to know how intelligent it is.
I mean, okay, so yeah, go ahead and make another nature check.
Okay. 17.
So you know from the books that you had read during your racing in the Yeti Enclave that white dragons are the dumbest of all of the dragons, but they are still dragons. So they're not like directly stupid, but they're not like what you would expect with some sort of mastermind.
Yeah. So the white dragons aren't super smart. So I mean,
they're below human intelligence.
Yeah, it could just be moving lairs, or it could have been out hunting. But that course that it's taking will avoid any of the settlements of the 10 towns. I mean, it gets kind of close to where Dugan's Hole used to be, but I mean, that's no longer an issue. So to follow it, we might follow it and just find its lair, but I don't know if that's... I mean, I guess a dragon being this close to the area would be a danger to travelers.
As the conversation has continued, and you've continued along the river, it's now crossed over where you are perpendicularly and is starting to get out of sight.
Do we think it's going to its lair or going from its lair?
Well, it wasn't carrying any food or anything, so it could be any number of things without asking him. I guess there's no way of really knowing what he's up to. It's really the determination is, do we continue on to Bryn Shander and ignore this creature's presence, or do we investigate?
Everything tells me not to investigate, but man, I would love to investigate. You don't see a white dragon every day in Neverwinter.
Just think what would have happened if we had gotten to that black dragon first before it left its lair.
A black dragon.
Well, Chardlin was not typical of dragon behavior, though.
But if we had found it and we had destroyed it before it destroyed us.
I owe you my life, Tempest, so whatever decision you come to, I will support you full speed behind you.
Okay, I know it's a bad idea. Tempest, Z, we've gotten into a lot of shady situations, a lot of hairy situations that we've barely escaped by the hair of our backsides. I can't speak for everybody. But I think...
Z probably would not have hair on his backside, being reptilian.
He can change in, I imagine, some forms. Like I was saying, it would be super intriguing to see a dragon's lair. Also, it would help like Bryn Shander because, we have information on a dragon. As I'm like getting a notebook ready to start writing stuff down.
Well, Z,
I look at Z.
I don't think it's worth it.
the decision is not unanimous then, so do we go with majority rules or?
This is more delicate than that. I understand if we collectively decide it'd be best for us to return to Bryn Shander.
Let's go back.
At that, Altus kind of switches and is like, we must get back to Bryn Shander.
Okay.
I'm going to make note of its course in case we need to know that later, but that's all.
Okay, so after letting the dragon go, and by the time the decision is actually made, the dragon is out of sight because of the banks of snow on either side of the river. You all continue along, and by the time you reach where the river opens up into Mare de Walden, where you have Bremen on one side and Targos on the other, it is well into darkness. Twilight hours having faded several hours ago, as you come upon once more the ruined cities and the short trek back from Targos to Bryn Shander. As you reach Bryn Shander, you're just getting to the time of the night where the lights fly across the north once more. What are you all doing?
I'd stay one more time. I'm sorry, Coulter. I was talking to chat.
As you reach the gates of Bryn Shander, after the full day of travel, you are once again reaching the time where the lights fly across above you.
Should we report the dragon to the authorities? It didn't seem to be a danger to Bryn Shander, but information is information.
More and more we go about this, I realize we are the authorities.
It couldn't help to let the locals know that there could be a dragon in the area and just to be prepared.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
We should also maybe try and gain more information about Yaselm. Maybe she was in town for some time and somebody else interacted with her.
Yeah, or does anyone know where Hugo is? And if he's okay.
I assumed the two investigations would overlap in that way.
We just need some info.
All right.
So who would we speak to? Is there a local constable or some kind of wizard's tower that adventurers report to? Or
we report to the Teat normally.
The bar?
Indeed.
The speaker of Bryn Shander, and there's a sheriff. They're probably the authority.
I will follow you. As he just kind of like stands.
Okay, well, I go to the speaker's house. No, the sheriff. Let's go to the sheriff.
Okay.
No, wait, the speaker. I don't like the sheriff. I'm sorry.
So lucky you, in Bryn Shander, the town hall would have both the speaker's office as well as their jail and Sheriff Markham's office. By the time you arrive, the building itself is fairly closed down, unless you were planning on going to her home directly.
Well, I don't know if it's like a get up in the middle of the night kind of report.
Yeah.
Maybe we just leave her a note.
Yeah, I would write her a detailed note with.
Also,
Molly, can you draw a map?
we could also just report in the morning.
Okay, that's fine too.
I feel that any note or map I would leave would just lead to more questions. Most people don't seem to understand cartography's the true arts.
Cartography.
So you're saying you're so good at drawing maps that nobody can read them?
I can.
All right, I head to the witch's teeth.
I just find that usually when you do maps by topography and, distance between sky and horizon and whatnot, it gets a tad confusing.
So leaving the darkened town hall of Bryn Shander, heading down the main square back to the Witch's Teat, just a few yards away from the town hall. The place is alive. People are, celebrating after a hard day's work. People are starting to get their spirits back up after several days of combing through the wreckage. All of the bodies in Bryn Shander have now been put to rest. People are celebrating the lives of their family and friends, and the ale is flowing quite heavily, as most of the people that had been refugees in the Witch's Teat have found more permanent homes until more can be built. So everybody that's left behind are patrons, or folks that are, having meal rations from Bryn Shander or the surrounding towns after a hard day's labor.
Yes. Tempest, you don't happen to know about any unoccupied caves within the walls of Bryn Shander, do you? I'd be much happier in a cave of some kind. This is intense.
We need to find somewhere to live.
Oh,
I wonder who's living in our place. Quill rented it out. I don't know. I don't want to disrupt anybody.
you are homeless.
What options in terms of housing are there for us, Coulter?
So right now, because of the way that all of this is set, almost anywhere that you were to find lodging in the city is going to be several people to a room, just because people are mostly only traveling to the towns that you can get to within a day and get back for the safety of the numbers of Bryn Shander. Staying in the Witch's Teat may not be a bad option right now.
Okay. I think we're stuck staying here for a little bit until...
Oh.
It wouldn't be the first time. It shall not be the last. And it is the best we can make of things.
I get drinks for everybody.
As you are ordering around, Tormund gives a grunt and a wink as he sets it down, and you can hear under his breath, "It's on the house," as he shuffles away to get the next order from the folks down from you. It is the most bottom shelf of what you offer, but it is free.
It is free. Once I have my drink, I'd like to kind of make my rounds and do like, not the cleric role, but check in with everybody, ask how everybody's doing, and just kind of touch base with everybody, see if anyone has special gripes or special tales of something happy. I don't know. Just check in with the townspeople.
Ask them if they've seen Hugo too.
Yeah, and casually slip in about Hugo.
Okay.
Tempest, I believe this fruit juice has gone bad.
Oh, I guess you wouldn't know what alcohol is. You've read about that though, right?
Yes, alcohol. It is useful for cleaning, very flammable. I know several properties of alcohol. Is that what this is? It smells yeasty, like bread that hasn't been cooked yet. Is this what bread comes from?
It's beer, ale.
It's sure a common ancestor, yes.
It's liquid bread.
Oh, well, in that case, I mean, I do enjoy bread. The bread we've shared since I've been with you has been very, very kind to me. So then...
It'll probably make you feel better in this crowd.
As you're
takes
having
a sip and goes, oh my, that doesn't taste like bread at all.
The more you drink it, the more it will.
As the two of you are having this conversation, there is a clank of stools moving noisily as through the crowd, pushing folks out of the way, Helene steps forward. Oh, you're back. I actually have news for all of you. Thank goodness you're here. And she's kind of slurring a little bit. The walking isn't totally smooth. And she reaches behind her and forcibly pulls forward a male gnome in acolyte robes, who is clearly from the garb from the house of the Morning Lord. He's got news. We might be able to end this whole damn thing.
He's got news about what?
And with that, we'll cut over to Altus. As you are making your way around the revelers, most people are more than happy to include you in their conversation. Most people are a few in by this point, having it be later in the evening. What you end up gathering is that the renovations are going well, especially with all of the towns working together. It's been so many years that they've all been rivals and fighting for one another and had uneasy alliances, that this common enemy and common tragedy has brought all of them under one umbrella of humanity striving in the wilderness. And there's this kind of feeling of warmth bubbling out of that sadness as they tell you about the homes that they're trying to patch up if they haven't fallen, the new houses that they're building in the close by towns, basically the world itself starting to come back out of the snow.
I'm delighted and humbled to hear it.
The first table that you talk to has at least 6 builders around it. And after sharing it, one of them takes your tankard and has a sip of it and spits it out and pulls their own jug from underneath the table, sets it down. This is going to be better than any of the swill Tormund's serving up.
Don't mind if I do.
And I do the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Copper, tell him what you told me. And she kind of pushes him in front of her to speak with all of you. And he sort of is very jumpy. I was an assistant to a very talented, if pig-headed, artificer who was working on a tool that we thought might bring an end to all of this. But, we had a falling out about a 10-day ago, and I just kind of figured that eventually he'd, I don't know, give up and come apologize. But I haven't heard from him since, and I'm beginning to worry that something may have happened. If he's unable to finish this, I don't know of another hope for 10 towns.
What was he working on?
It's complicated, the inner machinations of the device, but it would be a self-contained star of sorts. It would allow summer to return in a contained space, controlling the weather in a large area.
Malai puts a hand up. If you could describe it in non-layman terms, and then you can just give, like, can I make like an Arcana check or something to see if Malai understands the concept behind it? As an artificer.
Well, it is a summer star. Is, I suppose, the proper term for it. It's several incantations woven together in order to amplify a control weather spell. We were getting very close before, but it was months without progress.
Yes, but that could also lead to a blight as well. I mean that's very dangerous magic that you're toying with.
Well, that is why we were being careful and why it is taking so long. But without summer, nothing's growing up here anyways, so a blight wouldn't have terrible consequences.
Well, I mean,
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
where'd you last see him?
There's a cabin that we've been working in case of accidents to make sure that it wasn't of a broader effect to any of the individual 10 towns where we were experimenting. It's north of the Lonely Wood. But the attack happened not a day after I returned, and I don't think they would have gone that far out of their way, but there must be a reason that I haven't heard from him.
Well, as per my observations, this is the part of the conversation where we discuss payment.
I'm an acolyte. I have no money of my own, but I'm sure that the temple would be happy to grant services if any become necessary.
My research indicates that religious institutions actually have much more money than they let the common folk know about. Is that not true?
I think we're also overlooking the fact that if this does work, then we've maybe found a way to counteract Ariel's curse. And so maybe payment isn't quite the topic of discussion right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to follow protocol.
Since when has that been our protocol?
That is, if you can even be trusted. We haven't been so lucky lately. Intimidate.
Go ahead.
Oh boy. $15.
He let me check for him real quick.
He should be at disadvantage. He is very meek.
He startles and jumps as you accuse him, stepping forward with your much larger form, and runs behind Helene, who, although she is also a smaller person, is much larger than him and completely obscures his form. The poor little thing's a wimp. I don't think he poses a threat to anyone.
To be fair, the last person who betrayed us also seemed to be quite meek.
Well, if he betrays you in the wilderness and you need to kill him on the road, I don't think anyone will notice. A little shriek from behind her.
I am quite adept at hiding things in the snow.
If you'd like, before you go, you can. I'll accompany you to the House of the Morning Lord, and you can have sort of truth cast on me and ensure that everything that I am saying is entirely accurate. But I don't want to leave the walls of this town.
Can I get a wisdom saving throw from him?
Sure. That is a 20.
Well, never mind then.
He is a cleric.
Well, I'm willing to give it a shot.
Sounds straightforward to me.
If
Did we
Tempest
rest
is
since the last battle?
What's that? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear what Hank said.
Did we rest since the last battle?
not yet,
I don't
no.
think so.
I didn't think so.
We could just head out in the morning.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of your help. I don't want to say that this is the last hope, as the Morning Lord always provides, but I am concerned if he fails.
Mm-hmm. As is protocol, I'm supposed to say something along these lines. If you betray us, we shall remove your eye sockets and attach them to your rectum.
Having poked his head out from behind Helene to say that last part, he jumps back behind her and is clutching onto the back of her robes.
You know how to do that?
Protocol.
I've read several books on being an adventurer.
Oh, no. We're not those kind of adventurers.
And then anything that we say that could be overly threatening, we usually just leave to Tempest. I like where your head's at. I like your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You have goodwill behind it. So
to be clear, I would be capable of doing that task. It would be simple with needle and thread.
But we don't do that.
Oh,
I guess we found someone scarier than me.
Well, I'm just saying. I thought it was commonplace. I was following Tempest's lead. I apologize.
I appreciate the backup.
You're doing well.
Please do not ever sew my eye sockets to my rectum.
I would never. No, I would never do that to anyone. It's just something you say to suss out if someone is going to betray you, I thought. Is this not?
Well,
I think it worked.
if y'all are done with the preening and threatening and whatnot, I'm going to get the little lad here a drink to calm him down. Then Helene
I'll take one too.
forcibly turns him around and walks him over to an empty spot of the bar.
I follow and get more.
I follow and help Tempest get everyone more. Malai, your the answers you seek are at the bottom of your mug.
He immediately pours his mug out onto the countertop and then goes, "This is just the bottom of a cup."
And go pat Altus on the head. Nice try, kiddo.
Honestly, thank you, because I didn't know if I could finish that. It was making me feel awful ill.
Once you get past that awful ill point, everything just becomes smoother.
Worse.
You're speaking of inebriation.
So you have heard of that kind of alcohol.
Well, I've read about inebriation. It always leads to terrible consequences.
No, it doesn't. I can dance so much better.
I start giggling.
Terrible consequences. I do not want to dance.
Some say liquid courage.
So, Z, which books should I be reading for the type of adventurers we are? Do you have reference material? Is there a bookshelf in this town that I could peruse?
Oh, it's more we kind of learn who we are as we go.
Yes, but I'm trying to perform admirably at my new profession. So there must be an instruction manual or a reference to a story or some sort. Yes?
We're hardly professionals.
Oh, so in the future, you should follow my lead, as I have studied professionals in this profession, and that this is how things are done. Yes.
If it weren't for my slight inebriation, I would be horribly offended at that statement. So jot that down.
Okay. He starts jotting things down.
Still curious how Yeti's got all these books.
They would bring them to me. I don't know where they procured them. There are several ruins on Caer Konig from failed camps and failed settlements.
So you're reading adventuring advice by failed civilizations and people that died. That's
most of them are
perfect.
just novels, like the novels written about Driz Do'Urden. That's how I knew who he was.
If and when you all do choose to return to your home, several of your fallen comrades' books are still there. You know that most of what he had was destroyed when the dragon took out his home. But being the bookworm that he was, there was always books kind of left in his wake. So
I don't think I'd offer that up yet.
just for the future.
Okay.
And with that, so what are you all doing the rest of the evening?
drinking.
Trying not to drink, but keep being offered alcohol.
Altus is drinking with his friends and family, having fun, and trying to subtly get Malai to drink more, and trying to think of ways to casually be cute and flirt with Tempest, but shooting all of them down in his head before he does anything.
I will butt in on that and make a point that if Molly really does not want to drink, then Z would cut back on with Altus, like forcing him.
It wouldn't be forcible, obviously. It would be subtle, like, hey,
here, try this. Wink,
try
wink.
this one. Yeah. You know, the second sip tastes better than the first, and the third sip tastes better than the second.
Oh, I've had 4 sips. That was not the case.
I'm going to get pretty drunk, and then at some point I want to go find some trouble. So I don't know if there's are there already opportunities for that? Like, are there like fighting pits or like?
Hey DM, can we use some downtime days and fight Bridezilla?
What the hell?
Bridezilla must die.
I don't know what the reference is. I don't think
I'm offended.
this soon after there would be fighting pits available, but I will definitely make a note to see when those are going to open up again for you.
Okay, we'll say I just went and checked and then came back and finished drinking again, or kept drinking.
Yeah.
If you would like, Tempest, I'm more than happy to spar with you.
No, you're too pretty.
So
Malay
Tempest
has never believed you to lie to him until that exact moment.
Tempest, you knew that there was another tavern that's close to the walls on the outskirts. The Witch's Teat being a fairly reputable location, since you were there to keep it nice and calm for so many months, is much calmer. But over on that eastern wall, there was a place that used to have a fighting pit in the basement, a bar always suspiciously empty. But approaching it in the dead of night, as the northern lights begin to fade away, the bar itself is still barred up.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Pat Tempest on the back. Someday we'll come back.
Oh yeah, and if there's anybody doing any funny business in the bar, you let me know. I'm definitely eyeballing everybody.
As I'm walking around behind Tempest and seeing her agitated state, I was like, what is it that you are seeking?
Release?
I don't answer.
This must be another side effect of inebriation.
As the evening wears on, you all having arrived kind of at the height of the raucousness of it, with the last of the shifts returning from work and most of the people beginning to straggle on home, Tempest is able to break up one fight happening just outside of the bar itself, as 2 men begin to get into it over what they would have done if they would have faced the Charlatan dragon. And after she sends one home and the other to sleep in the hay bales behind the bar, Tormund makes up cots for all of you in the storage room, which is kept warm by the fires of the kitchen.
Ooh, is it a windowless room and like underground?
It is not underground, but it is a windowless stone room.
Man, I go to start making a fire.
Warm.
Unless somebody stops me.
Yeah. Be warm.
Yeah.
You're going to make a fire in the storage room? No.
I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah.
No.
Oh, but it's like home.
Well, we can...
This home is flammable.
Altus can sit on the ground and like wave his arms around and pop and sizzle like a fire for you, but we're not going to make one.
He should do that.
I would enjoy that immensely. Thank you, Altus.
What? Really?
Yes, it would
He
make me
said
feel
he
better.
didn't dance.
Okay.
You should dance.
I finish my drink. I go sit down in the middle of the room, cross-legged, of course. And
Just cross applesauce.
yes, I cast. Oh, hold on. I have a cantrip for this.
Oh,
No, I think you should make a performance check and then act it out as Jake. I think that's what should happen.
I don't
And
know if we're gonna get that.
I believe if we got bits on the Twitch stream, we could probably get him to pretend to be a fire, right? Twitch stream.
Oh God. I think we're okay without that, but we appreciate the suggestion. Jake, what cantrip were you going to cast?
I hold my mug in the air as I sit crisscross applesauce. I cast light on it, and I just kind of wave my hand above it and try to mimic the look of flames against the wall. And I just
Give me a performance check, Altus.
ask me what the top 3 checks I never thought I would have to check as a cleric.
What are the top 3 checks you would never have to make as a cleric?
Performance, and athletics. That's a 13. No, wait, that's a 14 after mods.
So the fire begins off a little drunk. The flames kind of going in odd directions, but as you get the rhythm of it, you are able to shadow on the wall into your crackling and popping flames. And tell me again, what cantrip was that?
It was just light coming from inside the cup.
I like it.
I curl up near the fire and sigh myself to sleep.
Now you're gonna have to do that every night.
Oh, what have I done?
I hope we can find Hugo tomorrow. I am starting to get concerned.
we'll find him.
Right. So as you all get a long night's rest, for once not having to worry about keeping watch or the chill of the ice around you.
You're right. Oh, it's so beautiful. Sorry.
You are all able to get your complete rest. Tempest's exhaustion from the night before is removed, and Tormund wakes you up at the beginning of twilight the next day when he comes to open the tavern.
God, were you always this ugly?
Oh,
He begrudgingly holds out a pail of water
woof.
and 4 cups.
Oh, you're so beautiful.
Don't make a habit of it. And turns to walk away and begin
Of hitting
the fire
on you?
for the porridge.
For the porridge? What?
Tormund heads out to begin the fires in the kitchen for the porridge.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought you were like, for Narnia for porridge. Like what? I guess I'll make sure everyone gets up and we clean up any mess we may have made so we're not intruding on the entry and impeding his duties.
Tormund will appreciate that now that he's down a hand at the tavern.
He still hasn't hired anybody?
I'm irreplaceable.
No, it's
To
true.
the left, to the left.
Might be there looking for jobs. The next time I make my rounds, I'm gonna put out feelers for a bar help for Tormund.
I get the dogs fed and get them going, by the way.
I start enchanting Helena's weapon, Jake's weapon, and then I hand you a ring, Z.
Okay. I stare at it and then stare at you.
Once per day, it should restore your magical reserves. If I were to quantify it, I would say anything up to like a third tier magical effect could probably be refueled by it.
Fantastic.
While wearing that ring, you can recover 1 expended spell slot of 3rd level or lower.
Do I have to attune to this?
I believe so.
Okay.
Excellent.
It actually doesn't say, so I'm not sure without getting out my book.
I would assume probably based on that.
Yeah, we'll say attune for now, and then if you find otherwise when we get there, we can adjust it.
Sweet.
Well, because it's just on my D&D Beyond. Usually when I have to attune to it, it shows up on my items requiring attunement list because it's in my inventory and it doesn't show up there. So I don't think so.
Cool, I'm fine with that then. All right. So
Cool.
coming...
Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. Trying to make myself useful, as it were.
Very nice.
Excellent. Flynn is helping Tormund around the kitchen, kind of moving, bowls and things for him and getting the last of the tankards that were left over from last night cleared around. The hell are you all still doing here? It's nearly half past twilight.
Well, I'm not as familiar with you as the rest of them, but we have been, at least for myself, sleeping in a small cold stone cell for several months. So it was kind of nice to sleep somewhere that wasn't awful for at least a minute.
Well, while I am happy for all of you, and while I have faith that whatever decision you made was the right one, people that save the world should be getting on their way.
Did we ask you if you saw Hugo?
Oh, yeah.
Fire fella.
Yeah.
Two nights ago or so, when y'all returned the first time, he was drinking with a lady with a wolf cloak and antler sticking out of it.
Yes, Isael.
They left a while afterwards, and I haven't seen him since then.
She killed him. Damn.
She
Do you need me
couldn't
to
have.
keep a watch out for her?
Please, not her, but him, please.
No, we killed her.
Oh, well, I suppose that's good if she's a murderer.
Bitch.
And then we threw her head inside of an urn.
All right. Well, far be it from me to question your methods. And she turns back to what she was doing.
To be honest, it was
I'm
to
like-
solve a puzzle.
I'm gonna slip her a gold piece, just for dealing with us.
Tarmin, I don't know if the kettle's on loud enough. You might want to turn up the... She turns it up until you get the loud whistling sound coming out of it. It was great seeing all of you. Oh, gold when you get back for the armors.
Oh, yeah. We'll find you.
Armors?
We sold a lot of... she's a front man. What's the word?
Fence?
She's kind of a fence for us.
All right.
All right. Where are y'all heading?
Did we get detailed instructions where that cabin was, or do we need to
North
talk
of
to that guy?
Lonelywood.
Yeah, no, just that it was north of Lonelywood. Y'all kind of scared Copper into shock and sent him being given drinks by Lynn.
So do we,
We also need to
talk
stop
him?
by Town Hall.
Yeah, but do we need
where
to talk
to-
to him to get better directions?
Wait,
Yeah, you
wasn't
probably
he
would need to get a
coming-
map from him.
Okay.
Wasn't he coming with us?
No, he didn't want to
No, he
leave.
said he desperately did not want to do that.
Okay.
All right. Well, he wasn't in the teat. Would we know where he would be, or do we need to go ask Helen?
He is an acolyte of the House of the Morning Lord. So that would be a reasonable
Go there.
place.
Okay. All right. Town hall, and then that place.
And then Coulter, as we move through town, I look for anyone arguing. And if I see them arguing, I mimic what Tempest did last night with the two drunken folks. If it happens. But
Okay.
Malai is trying to see people arguing so we can break up the fight like Tempest did.
All right. There are, with it being kind of now back into work hours, there are a lot of people working on the buildings that were destroyed here, people coming and going through the gates of the town, but everyone seems a little bit too busy to have gotten into a squabble yet. So are you heading to the House of the Morning Lord first or to the town hall first?
Might as well get the
Whichever's
town hall
first.
out of the way, right?
Yeah, town hall is closer.
Yeah, town hall.
So the town hall is bustling as well, with people coming in and out, getting ledgers for supplies, folks getting tools and passing off letters and instructions. The speaker is currently sitting behind her desk, having a meeting with several builders as they begin to work forward, continuing to fix the 10 towns.
Do we see the sheriff?
He is in his office.
So I go in there.
Okay.
Go to there.
Our favorite heroes. How can I help you all this morning?
We just want to let you know we saw a white dragon yesterday. It was heading southeast.
Towards the spine of the world.
I don't know if there's any reason to worry. We just wanted you to know. Also, there might be a missing, possibly murdered person. Hugo Whistleblower. Thistle?
Hugo Thistleweaver.
Thistleweaver. And then I describe Yuselm and like what this story about that. So he knows.
I don't know when I'll be able to start on that, but I will add his name to the list of those that are missing. And he flips open this large ledger book that is full from top to bottom with names and scrolls through the list several times to find a blank spot, and takes down your description of the fire genasi.
Are those just Bryn Shander names?
These are all of the 10 towns. There's not many of the speakers that have made it out alive. Most are staying in their towns if they have. So we're kind of a base of operations at this point.
Well, thank you for taking the report.
Of course. Thank you for letting us know about the dragon. I'm not sure exactly what I'll be able to do, but I'll see if I can put some extra watchmen to the southeast of the walls.
If the path was common, it would be best to watch from the south and the western sides of town. Those would be the easiest to see him. But he was far outside of Bryn Shander's range, if that is a common pattern for him.
I haven't heard of reports of a white dragon approaching the town in my career, but if that has changed, this would likely be the time for it.
How big was he, Coulter? Like, if I had to gauge.
You could guess adult, but with the distance, even though you still had a really good nature check and a good perception check, the distance just made it difficult to tell.
No, I was just making sure, like, it wasn't like a baby or something like that.
No.
All right, well, we made our report, and we've asked you to look for our friend, even though you did not seem terribly interested, even though he went missing after the current crisis. But
Well, he's got a lot of people to look for.
Markham closes the ledger and scoots it aside on the desk. Did you have any other business before I set the watchman?
Nope, good. I start shoving him out. Ooh. Okay, how's the Morning Lord?
I'm just saying he could at least pretend to care. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying that he has to care.
Well, he probably lost half his family or even worse.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying Hugo is currently missing. He could still be saved. Most of the others are probably, I mean, it's been days for them.
Hugo has got it way better than all those other names on the list because he's got us looking for him. And if he's alive, we're going to find him.
That is.
And if he's been murdered, we already took care of the vengeance. So let's go.
Copper is pacing, waiting for all of you outside of the House of the Morning Lord, kind of quietly mumbling to himself as he goes back and forth in front of the gates. Oh, you did come. Hlyn said that all of you were very trustworthy and reliable, but things are a little odd, so you never quite know what to expect. I have a map, and I was I'm available if you had any other questions for me.
This map does not include average temperatures.
Well, it is cold here, and it is cold there. It is roughly the same amount of cold until it gets dark when it is colder.
I'm going to take his map and scroll it into my much more accurate map.
So you last heard from him 10 days ago when you guys had this fight?
Yes, that is when I returned to 10 Towns. I wanted to, I don't know, forelay any further aggravation, so I left in the night while he was sleeping.
Okay. And if he's not at the cabin, is there somewhere else he would likely be?
Here. If he's not at the cabin, he would either be here or some darker fate.
What does he look like?
Well, he's a gnome, much like me, gray hair, as opposed to mine. He's about yay tall, and he holds his hand just slightly above his own head. Slightly portly, friar type.
And do you have any idea who would have done something to him if that's what happened?
Not many people knew that we were out there. I suppose if there are agents of the Frostmaiden walking among us, like people have claimed, it's possible that she didn't like someone trying to waylay her plans. But with the protection of the Morning Lord, he shouldn't have had any problems with her.
Does the Morning Lord protect the entire town?
No, but I just have to believe that with the work that he was doing, it was particularly important that he be protected for the sake of the entire town.
Does the Morning Lord protect from wild animal attacks and such? Because it's very likely that if he's just out in the middle of nowhere, that he would be eaten by wild animals.
I mean, I've heard legends of such things happening before. He starts to mumble again, trying to remember specific passages in the Morning Lord's scripture that might directly relate to being protected from wild animals, and it sent him on this tangent where he starts to pace again. Well, if you look at it's similar
Altus,
to...
I find that I prefer your brand of religion to this man's.
He has a flask out at this point and is slowly drinking.
Now, new little
He's
friend.
drinking already? Okay.
With this going on, yeah.
Let's go. I just start walking away.
Depending on how long it continues, we may have to have a roll for that. All right, so back to our world map here. The spot of the cabin is listed here. So north of Lonelywood, following the river further.
Northeast, really, but yeah.
So should we take the river again?
Well, it would make most sense to follow the road to Lonelywood and then take the river,
Okay.
as Mare Dueldon isn't usually fully frozen over. We could
Sounds good, map guy.
We could skirt the outside of the wood in between the lake. That would be the most direct route so we don't get lost. The other route would involve too much open tundra.
So handy having a druid amongst us.
I'm not a druid, sir. Hugo
So you
was a
said
druid.
we take the road to Lonelywood and then the river from there?
Yes, so we'll take the same road we took to Targos and then go from there.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
and
so...
then, Coulter, as we'll be traveling, I'm going to use the stealth configuration for my armor, just so you know.
Which and should we take our axe beaks, or are we just doing the dogs?
We should probably take both, just so it's less on the dogs. But
okay,
Yeah,
I just wanted to mention we didn't mention them.
Okay, so axe beaks and dogs then.
Sure.
Okay. Excellent.
someone bought and paid for these, who is now dead. So I feel like we should use them.
I like them.
You know what? The axe beaks now are not all of the originals, but they're still great axe beaks.
Family.
The one I ride now, I named Chopper instead of Pork Chop.
Oh.
You renamed it, or you got a new one?
Renamed Tranquil. Wait, you got a new one?
Pork
Wasn't
Chop
there?
was killed in the Red Waters because he fell into the lake.
Yeah, so I just assumed you were using Tranquil's axe beak.
Yeah.
Oh,
The three that are still alive.
Okay, never mind then. I thought we had way less axe beaks than that. I thought we were down to like 2 out of 4.
No, we had five,
Five.
and then we lost 2.
Okay, so we did lose 2. I'm just crazy. Okay,
Yeah, one was grabbed by the land shark.
right.
So who is on an axe beak and who is driving the sled?
I'll be on an axe beak.
I'll
What's
be on the
required
sled.
to drive the sled? You're on the sled?
I mean, yeah, I can do the sleds, and you three
Okay,
can be
yeah.
on the beaks.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Beaking it up.
The dog's like
So-
Tempest best.
But I don't want to lead because I am not the survival person.
I can, if you would like.
What's your survival?
+5.
Sweet.
Okay. So the path for most of this is pretty clear, as it is like the actual road between the towns. It takes about an hour to get from Bryn Shander to Targos, just as regular. Targos has started to rebuild, but something seems a little bit off. You're leaving right after maybe a half an hour into the twilight. So, halfway through the twilight by the time you get to Targos. And there's so many fewer people within the walls than a population that size would really account for. Heading on the road up from Targos towards Tourmaline, this town is one of the ones that actually hasn't had too many of their buildings destroyed. You can see the entrance to the mines that are presently closed up. And though a few of the buildings were torn down, many of them are up and people are coming in and out of them, as this seems to be sort of a northern base of operations, much smaller than Bryn Shander, but where people are gathering as far as taking supplies to and from. Shorter distance still up to Lonelywood, where nothing stands. The entirety of the town is leveled up to scorch marks on the edge of the tree line that marks it separate.
Z's gonna break off and go run towards the forest.
See, we should not
What?
separate.
I follow him.
Do I in the forest, or is there a sign of anyone hiding in the forest? Anything?
Give me an investigation.
Z's looking to see if there's anything left. 14.
Okay. So once you're out of the immediate tree line that edges the town, there's clear signs of large groups of people having been here. There's spaces left over from small campsites, leftover cloth and food scraps. It appears that a large grouping had been in the forest within the last week.
So I could infer that they hid in the forest and that people are okay.
You could infer that. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely somebody here. If it wasn't the citizens of Lonelywood, I'm not sure who it would be.
Okay, but that was pre-dragon, or around the time of the dragon.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And you did see banners of Lonelywood in Bryn Shander.
Okay. So, okay. Cool. There were people. Okay. Z's gonna go over to a particularly old, gnarled tree somewhere in the middle of the forest and touch it reverently, and then get back on his axe beak and head out.
Okay. As you
Did something important happen at that tree?
I don't know. Do you ask that?
Yeah, as you walk by, I'm like,
that was. Remember how I said I spent time in other towns sometimes?
yeah, working.
This Lonelywood was one of my towns, and that was my little hideout when I didn't want to work. So I'm happy that it's still there, and I'm happy that it looks like some of my friends may have survived.
Yeah, this is a fine place to rebuild.
As you all leave that tree line, having left that mark, there is a warmth spreading from the amulet on your chest.
Oh, she's happy.
I totally forgot to talk about your vision in my recap. I'm so sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
I wrote about it.
It's all good.
As you all head further north along the tree line and the parts of Maer Walden that are not quite frozen over within another few hours, as the end of the twilight is now gone and a few hours into the night has begun, meaning roughly 4 p.m., you reach the other side of Dwalden, where the water freezes over into the river once more.
I say we keep moving.
Okay.
It would be pointless to camp before we reached the camp of this man.
Can I get a survival check from whoever's in the lead?
I believe we decided I was doing that.
Yep.
Correct?
I think so, yeah.
17.
Okay. You do not lose your way. I mean, obviously the river is going to keep you centered and grounded, much like you saw before with the embankments on either side, making it very clear. But this check was mainly to see if you know where to stop on the river to not overshoot or undershoot your goal. Within another 2 or 3 hours of traveling, you do find a spot where the river narrows, and it appears that at one point there may have been a dock here, though all that remains is a few pieces of wood sticking out of the ground. Embarking from there, it's a very short journey from the side of the river till you reach
A new map.
Ah, it's so pretty. Something's going on in there.
Perched on the edge of a snowy ridge above a gorge is a black lodge on wooden stilts. Whatever path might have led to this ramshackle retreat lies buried under snow. Icy steps climb to a snow-covered walkway that clings to the south side of the structure. The building's slumped posture and sagging snow-covered roof, coupled with the broken windows and loose flapping shutters, suggest utter abandonment. Large snowdrifts huddle around the rotting stilts and engulf a nearby woodshed and outhouse. Only the wind visits this sinister place.
Investigating the scene. Is there any signs of a struggle or living? Someone that lives here.
Go ahead, give me an investigation.
Ooh, not bad. Investigation is a 15.
Okay, so you don't see any immediate signs of a struggle. There are no footprints coming to or from what appears to be the entrance to the building itself. But you do quickly see that it appears that all of the windows are shattered, and much of the destruction of the pathways and whatnot centers around where the windows were.
And is there light coming from within?
No.
I'm gonna move here
The shattered windows, Coulter, did they shatter outward or inward?
Go ahead and roll an investigation check as well.
I'm doing detect thoughts.
Okay.
So 30 feet.
16?
They appear to blown outwards. And to Z, you don't sense any life.
Okay.
Well, it seems whatever happened, or whatever he was experimenting with, took umbrage with the experimentation. I doubt we're going to find anything good inside. I mean that it exploded.
The Morning Star?
Whatever he was working on, that it seems there was, for all the windows to be shattered outwards, as it were. Oh, is those stairs?
They are,
20
yes.
feet. I would say I head up to where I can see in the windows or find a door.
Okay.
Before this tempest goes by it, Boma, do you want a blessing on you?
Thanks.
Yeah.
What does the blessing do?
It's the same as last time. It's the advantage on the next initiative roll.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So Tempest, there is a window here where you can kind of see like a divot in the darkness there. There. And then the white spots are where there are two doors.
Tempest, if you do not mind, I would like to set up magical sight before we enter. It'll take me just a few minutes.
Okay, I just kind of peek in the window while I wait for him to do that.
What are you doing?
I'm going to ritually cast Detect Magic.
Okay, Tempest, within the window of this room, frost covers every surface of an abandoned workshop.
Bummer.
How dark is it inside?
It's very dark. I mean, it's nighttime. It's nighttime in 10 towns. And the aurora has not begun yet.
So, okay.
Light would not be remiss. Altus, Z, are you capable of such a feat?
Z closes his eyes and whispers, I don't know what, and like a purple fog goes around everyone, and now everyone has dark vision up to 300 feet.
Ooh la la.
Oh,
Excellent.
I put my hand on Malai's shoulder, casting light on the armor, so now he is a beacon of light.
So now it's super bright. It's like, oh God.
Super bright.
Double darkness protection here. All right, so what are you all doing next?
Kick in the door.
Okay. Entering this workshop, like I said, frost covered, some snow having blown in through the windows themselves. There is a workbench in the center of the room with a turned over chair underneath it, and then shelving along the upper wall of the room with several items kind of strewn about, some knocked over, some knocked off.
Okay.
Does it look?
Is there another door over here, or is this just open?
No, I apologize. I'll reveal that. It's just a wall.
It's just a wall. Does anybody want to do like an intelligence? Like, does it look like something's missing? Like something's been stolen?
With detect magic, and then do you want me to make an investigation or arcana? Culture.
Investigation.
Okay. 7.
7?
7.
Yeah, with a +4, I got a 7.
Yeah, it is impossible to tell if something is missing just from how like disheveled the room itself is. As you are trying to discover that, a squirrel skitters across one of the shelves, knocking over a beaker that shatters on the ground, and makes its way into a hole in the wall.
He was attacked by the wild animals.
Okay.
Don't think it was a small animal that did it. That did
You've never
this.
seen a large number of small animals take out a corpse, have you?
No, I haven't. And sometimes I worry about the things you had seen.
Me as well.
I head back outside and
Anyway.
go look in the next window I see.
Okay, so from here you can see.
Oops, I didn't mean to step through the wall there. My bad.
Whoa, weird that you could do that. All right.
You can, from the window, you can tell that this room has lingering smells of burnt wood and flesh,
Oh, awesome.
as well as the faint odor of wine.
Okay.
Um,
I
Coulter.
jump over that.
Okay.
Go to the next
Oh.
door.
Tempest, a moment. I'm going to take out 3 strips of cloth and enchant each one of them to smell of roses, then give one to everyone to put around their nose. And I just put my visor down.
Oh, lovely.
Fancy.
Yeah, magical tinkering is cool.
I start rubbing it on me.
No, you just wear it.
Oh.
It's a magical.
Kick in the door. Okay.
Snow has fallen through holes in the roof, then been pushed into corners by stiff winds blowing through broken windows. The walls and furniture are scorched black, including a table with the charred remains of a book on it. Next to the table, on the floor, amid several broken wine bottles, is a mostly incinerated skeleton in a round frost-covered object about 6 inches in diameter.
Can I observe the frost-covered object?
Can I grab the book?
Grab the book? Okay. So what are you doing with the book?
I'm first going to see what language it is, if it's something I read.
Okay, so flipping through the book itself, nothing remains of the tome except ashes and a badly burned spine, upon which the characters can discern the letters ether. It's obvious that these letters were part of a much longer title, which happens to be something else. Characters can find another thing because I read too far. Yes.
Can I cast mending on the book?
This is probably beyond what a mending spell could do, like a fully incinerated book. You can go ahead and try, though.
Well, I mean, you just said it wouldn't do anything.
I mean,
can I like cast mending across the spine to try to get more of what the title was?
Sure, yeah.
Maybe like wipe the soot away better. I don't know, just mending on the spine just to see what it says.
Yeah,
that's what I meant by it. It could do something though. The title across the spine as you cast the mending and it kind of removes some of the burn and some of the soot is Magical Wonders of Netheril.
And I just looked up mending. It can only repair a single break or tear in an object.
So we just got the spine.
Mending.
Well,
Lots of mending.
I kick in this door.
Tempest, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but until we're sure what killed this man, we may want to stop kicking indoors.
I already did it. I'm sorry.
The scent of wine fills this room, which contains 4 frost-covered barrels.
Man, these gnomes like to drink.
That's all that can come in barrels. Just do it gently, Tempest. Just gently.
Wait, should we load up the wine barrels first?
What?
I'm just trying to think long term here.
Coulter, is there anything pinging off my detect magic, which is still active?
There is an aura from the frost-covered object that Z is currently examining.
Z, be very careful. That thing is definitely magical.
I figured.
I'm going to move over to it, and can I inspect it at all?
What are you both doing to inspect it? Because I know Z was there first. What were you doing?
I'm not touching it. I'm looking at it like staring at it, but up close.
Staring at it.
I would like to use detect magic and my skills to try and determine its purpose.
Okay. So with that, you see a weak residual aura of transmutation magic surrounding it.
Okay. Is there any chance I can make an Arcana check on it since it is a magical item?
I mean, you can make the Arcana check, but in its current state, that's what that's going to find, really.
Okay.
Go ahead and make the check.
Okay. That is a 27.
Without touching the item, you can see on the outsides, as the frost is kind of covering most of them, there are two bands of some sort of metal material that are almost set up like a gyroscope. So they're overlapping around some sort of crystalline object in the center, and they both have runes written across them.
Are the runes in a particular language or just magical runes?
They're just magical runes.
Mm. And it's covered in frost, which is obscuring most of the stuff, right?
Yes.
Altus?
Yes.
I believe this is a fireplace over here. Could you get a fire going?
Oh, that does sound lovely. I walk over to the fireplace and I search through my spells to see what I can cast.
He fake sneezes and throws a firebolt.
Tempest, were you going to open this door or were you with them?
I'll open it gently.
Okay. All right. This room is a laboratory.
It's for the smart people. I move along.
The room contains a fireplace and two empty bookcases. Tacked to the walls and strewn across the floor are frost-covered blueprints. Face down on the floor next to one of the blueprints is a tiny man made of clay.
I go to this other area. Oh, it's a hall. And gently open this door.
To the south or the north?
To the north, yeah. That first one.
Oh, the one you're standing in front of. Hello.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
A stiff wind blows through the broken window in the east wall, causing tattered gray curtains to billow and flap like angry ghosts. Snow covers a bed and much of the surrounding floor.
Oh, this whole place got frosted. All right, last door.
As you are going to that door, Z, once you cast the firebolt into the fireplace, you feel this cold breath come across the back of your neck as an indiscernible whisper crosses your ear and then fades away.
Oh, detect thoughts again.
All right. This room, wooden planks have been nailed over the broken window of this room to hold out the wind. Furnishing including a saggy double bed and a bookcase containing some folded clothes, a few blank sheets of parchment, and a set of calligrapher's supplies next to the bookcase is a soot-stained hearth wherein a scroll lies amid the ashes.
I grab that.
All right. What are the rest of you doing in the main room while she's doing that?
Go ahead.
As Z throws the firebolt into the fireplace, I snap to and I cast Thaumaturgy to turn the flames different colors because I don't want Z to have all the credit. So I turn them purple.
See thumbs
Actually, Altus, if you could turn it red light is particularly good for determining anomalies in things. Or
An
blue.
eerie purple light fills the room as you're having this discussion.
up. Well, wouldn't purple be even better then because it's blue and red together?
Ooh.
Not 100% sure of the effect of purple luminescence. It does not occur in nature.
But it does now. What is that thing you have, Z?
You mean the thing that's on the floor that I specifically have not touched because I'm scared of it?
I thought it was on the table, correct?
I thought it was on the floor.
That is an excellent question.
I thought it was on the floor.
It is on the table.
All right.
Okay.
Z, if you will assist me, let's move the table closer to the fire so the object can thaw, as it were.
Okay.
And
Tempest,
then,
do you look at the scroll at all, or do you just pick it up?
No, I just pick it up. I'm going to bring it back to the guys. I don't care about it. I figure maybe they care, but I don't care.
All right. So you all are moving the table from where it is over to the fire?
just so it can warm up the object, whatever it is.
Okay. Who's actually doing the moving?
Me and Z.
Yeah.
Can I just get a straight dexterity check?
No.
No, you can't.
What does it mean?
We're staging a coup against Coulter. Everybody's
It's gonna
just
roll
telling
off
him
the
no.
table. That's what's gonna have to catch it.
Oh, Jesus, 15. I think I have like a -1 to that roll, so I was very nervous.
Z?
14.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, it does roll back and forth on the table, and at one point it rolls almost to the edge, but you both manage to right it before whatever it is falls off onto the floor. All right. So it sits before the fire as Tempest returns to the room.
All right. So in proper scientific inquiry, we should try and secure as many of these windows as possible, and then tomorrow we can continue to observe the object.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yes, we need to give it time to defrost, and I would like to have a different tool set if it's at all possible.
I mean, we should probably rest before we head back. Hey, I found this. Is it magic?
It seems to be a scroll. Can I determine its function?
If you open it, it is a letter.
Oh.
In what language?
It is in common.
Oh, I could have even read it, but you read it.
Macreatus. I have had enough of this damned relentless cold. I feel it creep into my bones, my head, my heart. I'm heading back to 10 Towns for a decent meal and a warm bed. I fear this endless winter has numbed your mind, and any tinkerer worth their chains can see the summer star as a fool's errand. Maybe without me here to incessantly complain to you, you'll finally snap out of your obsession. If you truly insist on dedicating your remaining days to this doomed project, might I suggest that 3 is better than 2? I considered telling you before, but you were particularly rude about dinner I made last night. May the light of the Morning Lord protect you, Copper.
Oh, Copper's going to be... Wait a minute. He made it sound like this was going to succeed. Now he's saying it's fool's errand?
Well, he did send us out here because he was worried that he had done something that would cause him to become a charred skeleton on the floor of a cabin.
He also made it sound like the summer star was a thing that could actually be built, though.
Well, I mean, in theory, the theories behind it are correct, but the actual implementation, it's kind of like trying to create an object that makes things float. It seems like it would be simple in theory, but actually building it would be quite complex.
Well, at least we know what happened to him.
Altus, if you want to assist me in repairing the windows.
Sure. Let's do it.
Do any of
I
you
go
have
outside.
any medical training?
Mm-mm.
No, why do you ask?
Well, it might behoove us to figure out exactly what happened to the charred skeleton. So while you see to the windows, I'll examine the body.
Oh, it went from help me with the windows to while you do the windows.
Well, I assumed that you had more medical knowledge than I do. If you do not, then
I say I can do something here, and I walk over and I bend down to the skeleton and I cast Gentle Repose.
oh, hey,
Dad.
Altus, do you still have that spell we used on the head?
Yeah. After doing that, there's no way Altus would go a day without having that prepared.
What spell is that?
Speak with
Can we
dead.
talk to a skeleton?
As long as we have the corpse and it's less than 10 days old.
Okay. I'm just gonna be outside patrolling, just so everyone knows.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'll go about fixing the windows while Jake talks to the corpse.
Perfect. If our DM says so.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
There's a nat 20.
The spirit has left the body.
Spirits of the body. Because there is no body.
So it's more than 10 days old.
Did that
Is
guy
that-
kill him?
Is that how that works? I'm guessing that's what. I can't directly ask because that would just be meta.
It's not entirely clear why the spell won't work, but for whatever reason, the spirit cannot enter the body.
Okay.
So, question. I heard a voice and then I did detect thoughts. Did I hear anything?
No, not with detect thoughts.
As we work, I'm going to paranoidly cast See Invisibility. Just in case.
There is nothing invisible.
I know.
All you see is the outlines of your. All you see is the outlines of your friends.
I'm just going to have that up because I'm so scared of Druagar.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a good point. We should really always do that. So, what's in this shed over here?
As
It's like an outhouse.
as the rest of you are in the room itself, trying to figure out things with the body and trying to thaw the device, the door to this room, which is not letting me click, the door to this room slams shut loudly.
Oh,
And then a moment later, there's a click as it slowly opens halfway on its hinges. Outside, Tempest, you have found the outhouse.
oh, okay.
There's snow covering a good amount of the walkway up to it, but if you move it aside, you can open the door. And behind you, there is a wood pile, as I guess is evident by the map.
Okay. Continue my patrol.
So wait, was the door half opening Tempest's door or this door?
It was the same door.
Okay. Altus,
Yes.
could perhaps the body not be spoken to if it had become some kind of malevolent spirit? Would your spell have worked on it?
I don't believe so because the spirit and the body need to be connected in some way so that we may talk to the spirit through its former vessel.
Very well. Somebody should investigate that room where the door slammed. I believe we should get Tempest. I'll go get her.
A door slammed. I like put down my notebook and like step away from the skeleton.
Yes, that door that was open previously slammed shut on its own.
Why did no one tell me?
It slammed shut. Tempest!
What?
We might have a ghost.
I jog back inside.
There, that room. The door slammed shut on its own.
Oh. Can't get back up.
What do we do about a ghost?
So the door is cracked open still now.
But as
Tempest didn't
Malai
ask how big the room was. She said she kicks the door open.
as Malai is getting Tempest, can I cast where is it?
Somewhere.
Where is it? Detect evil and good.
Detect evil and good. It's weird hearing it that order.
It is.
Like evil and good? Anyway.
Detect evil and good.
Let me read this super quick. Nothing.
Nothing?
No good or evil.
Huh. Okay. I don't like it, but I have to accept it.
You said it was a laboratory, right?
Yep. Yeah, so that
can I
room is a
investigate
laboratory.
Should probably investigate.
Go ahead and roll investigate. Investigation.
16.
Okay, so the room itself seems to be much like the rooms outside where there's been snow blown up into piles around the corners. On this table on that western wall, there's a spot where snow has been cleared, leaving a section in the center of the table. And in that section are a smith's tool set, a tinker's tool set, and a bar of iron.
Okay, can you give me that one more time? I'm sorry.
Sure. So
for the tool sets.
So the room itself is much like the room outside where you saw the snow piled on everything. There's frost covering most of the surfaces. And there's an area on this table where the frost and snow has been cleared away. And there's the two tool sets and a bar of iron.
But it's been cleared away recently.
I mean, it does look, based on how wind and and cold works, as though it should be covered in ice if everything else in the room is.
And my see invisibility is still not seeing anybody.
Nope.
So it's a smith set and a tinker set and iron.
Like a block of iron, yeah. Like would be used for like smelting or for like smithing.
Is the contraption defrosted yet?
I apologize. I read see invisibility. You can see into the ethereal plane. So there is a frantically gesturing gnomish man who's just going at the table.
All right, what would you like me to do with the things on the table, Mr. Spirit?
He starts moving his mouth as if explaining and getting more and more exasperated and then pointing at you and then throwing his hands up and turning around.
If you're able to move the snow, why don't you write in the snow?
He turns around and mouths something else and rolls his eyes and walks over to the snow, and you see he pokes and his finger goes through it.
How did you clear the table?
Shakes his hand.
Who are you talking to?
Puts his hand again.
There's a gnome ghost in this room.
And he writes in the snow, 3 greater than 2.
So we need to build a third ring for the device.
Nodding emphatically.
Is the device safe to touch, however? We're having it defrost as of right now. No, do not touch it. Okay. Don't touch the device.
So how are we going to fix it if you can't touch it?
Can you guide me on how to craft the ring? Do you have specs?
He points to several spots on the floor where there's blueprints strewn all about the room.
Okay, I will go and collect those. And being the artificer that I am, immediately start crafting a metal ring.
As you're collecting them, he walks over and he kind of makes cautious gestures at each of them.
Yes. I understand how blueprints work.
All right. So in order to do this, you will need to be able to melt the iron and use the smith's tools to form it.
Look, we have a fire going.
Will that be hot
Not
enough?
gonna get
how
hot
did he
enough.
melt the iron?
Yeah.
Does anyone have heat metal? Does that work?
I have continual flame.
Oh, I mean, that would get there eventually, I'm assuming.
I thought continual flame was heatless.
Oh.
But it creates no heat.
Do you
Talk
have
about
reduced
useful.
flame?
I mean, I could throw a fireball at it.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I could bestow a curse on it.
Okay.
But I just keep throwing fire bolts. Like we put it in the fire and I just keep throwing fire bolts at it.
I have
don't know.
melded to.
I'm proficient in Smith's tools, so I'm assuming I know what the process would be, but Rio has no idea what would work for this.
Just roll a straight intelligence check.
Okay. Can I add proficiency because I am a smith?
Yes.
That is a 20, dirty 20.
Yeah, so you know that like you all had decided the fire alone would not be hot enough, but with those fire bolts thrown into it and that continually added flame, you would be able to melt the metal.
Z has a grand time. With some fire. That's stupid.
I assume you all
Start
move
drinking the wine.
I assume you all move the table and the device away from the fireplace before you do this, or are you using
I
one of
asked
the other
the gnome.
places?
I asked the gnome if it's possible to
You are
wrap
muted.
the object.
I'm sorry. Oh, you weren't muted. I lost sound for a moment. My bad.
I asked the gnome if it's safe if we wrap the object, if we could then touch it, or if it's just skin contact. That's the problem.
He brings a hand to his face.
Like, can I use tongs?
He puts up a finger and walks over to some of the things that are strewn on the ground, trying to find.
No. So we shouldn't touch it at all. Okay.
But putting a third bar on it's going to make it
Right.
okay to touch?
Right.
Helena and not Helena, Tempest and Altist, could you move the table with the object away from the flames?
Sure.
Sure.
Because you guys have better decks than me and C.
And I help Tempest.
Wasn't great, but I...
Dexterity check.
Dexterity. Ooh, that's only a 12.
Oh, you know what? This one wasn't great either. That's also a 12.
Okay. Where is everybody standing in the room?
I'm in the laboratory.
I am.
So
I
this
said I was heating the fire up, so where's the fire pit?
The fire is here.
Well, but we hadn't started heating the fire, so decided to move the object before we melted the iron.
So he would
Oh,
still
it's probably
be
over
there.
here.
Over there. Okay.
I'm moving the table away from the fire.
Okay, so as you move the table, you end up jolting on one of the scorched pieces of wood from the decrepit and falling apart building, and the summer star rolls off the side of the table and hits the ground.
You mean a soft, pillowy snowbank?
Light blossoms from the inside of it, becoming a 10-foot radius sphere. And as it does so, can I please get a con save from Tempest and from Altus?
Oh no.
Con. Oh yeah, 21.
All right, so Altus, you take 90 damage. Tempest, you take 45.
I'm down.
I'm sorry, what?
Did that just kill you?
Tempest, how much do you take?
Total.
Or how much do you have left HP wise?
I have 21.
All right, so Tempest, you are badly burned. Altus, you are completely disintegrated. Nothing but ashes left in a pile on the floor as the light recedes back into darkness in the room. And that is where we will end tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. And
we don't end
that
before
was...
I kick it as hard as I can.
Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We will talk, obviously, about everybody's feelings on this in the after party. I will have good news for y'all. So keep that in mind. And thank you so much to our patrons for supporting us on this. We really appreciate all of you guys. Sparky, David, Daniel, Scott, Rio's mom, Alistair, Sean, and Scott again. And then our newest patron, M, who thank you so much for signing up to be a patron of ours. We really appreciate all of you. And with that, we will be taking about half an hour to 45-minute break and be back with our Isles of Madness mini adventure. So remember, I got a really old one on there. Oopsies, I got to change that. May your days be filled with friends, fun, and natural 20s. Good night, everybody.
Yes.